Hello, my name is Rob Garner. I'm a computer programming instructor, and today I'm going to demonstrate how to use WPF menu controls. So, um, menu and ribbon controls, we're going to go over how to use menu and ribbon controls and also commanding. Menu controls basically are defined in XAML this way. So you have a dock panel, or you have your basic menu element here, and you can think of a menu as a tree structure where the top level you have the menu, and then you can have multiple menu and menu items below it. And you can notice that here this menu item also has menu items and separators that are part of it as well. So you can have multiple layer levels where you can click on a menu and more things will open up underneath it. So this is essentially a tree structure. So let's see what that looks like going to a demo. And I'm going to create a new project. It's going to be a WPF application. And I'm going to call it WPF menu demo. This one's going to be made in .NET 8. And so we have our main window here. I'm going to add this to source control. And I want to bring in a menu. So let's see, let's bring this down here. Open up our toolbox, WPF controls, and we're looking for a menu. So I'll drag this menu into my grid. I can bring it that way, or I think actually probably it'll work better if I just bring it into the designer. And I'm going to convert this to have content in it, and I think another change I'm going to make is I'm going to change this to a dock panel. Menus tend to work better with the dock panel. It's kind of what they're made for. And we're going to dock this to the top. And we're going to bring in a menu item. So this is what, your typical file menu item, and inside of that we'll have another menu item, which will have a header equal to new. And I'll make this one self-closing. Save that. And you can see there's the menu item, and I'm going to run that just to see what it looks like. And there we have our menu, and it's showing up. And maybe what I'll do is also we'll bring in here inside of the dock panel a text box, give it a name. And let's see, we need a width. So let's give it a width. And let's see what we've got. So we have a file menu and a place to enter text. The next thing we are going to do is look at commanding. So commanding uses the command pattern from the King of Four book. It provides an alternative way to associate events controls on a WPF window. In one sense, you can think of your menus as basically just a collection of buttons, and you could just handle the event controller on it. But WPF gives us a another way to associate functions with those menu items. And by using this command pattern, we decouple the events from the form control. So we don't have to have them tightly associated. And since there's a lot of commands that are going to be the same in different areas, we can reuse commands. In fact, we're going to see that the first ones we use, we'll use for cut, paste, and other ones. We're just going to use some pre-established functions that we won't have to even define. So the workflow is you create the command, and you can either use an existing application command class or create a new routed UI command. So the existing command classes are kind of common commands that you would have on any application, such as cut, paste, and delete. And then you write some methods. You need to write a can execute and execute methods to make a command. And then you bind those commands to the methods and add a command binding that binds it can execute and execute methods to the routed UI command object. Okay, so this is going to make a lot more sense when we actually do this. And then once we have that command created, we can associate that command with the UI control. So in our case, we're using it with menus. You can actually do this with you can use it with regular buttons, but we're using it for the menu. So the application commands class is a static class that provides a standard set of application-related commands. And those commands, they're they're component commands and navigation commands, and they're kind of things that are often done frequently in most applications. So if you've seen something that is the same in, for example, Word and Excel and in your PowerPoint applications, those probably are commands that already exist in the application command class. And the great thing is that you don't have to rewrite them. They're there for you to use. So, for example, a close command is executed on a control. The logic which performs the close command may not be provided by the control, so the application writer will be responsible for writing the logic that determines how the control will handle it. So, and a lot of the controls that are provided in WPF actually implement a lot of the functionality that is needed for those commands to work. So paste, cut, copy, undo, and redo commands are kind of implemented differently based on the control. And that's what this was getting at, is that different controls will respond to menu commands differently, even though you'll be doing pasting and cutting and copying on different things. It may be implemented differently based on what control has focus at that point in time. And so these are the some of the common application commands. You probably recognize a lot of these. Saving, printing, new, open. So these are existing application commands. And so let's give this a try. So I'm going to go to my Solution Explorer, and I'm going to create let's see, what do I want to create this? So I'm going to add a so I'm going to, in here in the main window, I'm going to make a void method called can execute. And all it's going to do is just set can execute from the routed event arguments to true. And we'll make another method called and it's going to have the same event syntax, with the sender and event args. And we're just going to do a message box.show. It says the new command was invoked. Now, once we have that, we can go back to our XAML and in our window, but outside of our panel here, we can say window dot command bindings. And this command is already one that's been defined. As we said, the application commands class has a bunch of predefined commands, and we're going to associate this new button we've created in our menu with this with these methods we have, and we're going to associate can execute with our new command can execute and new command executed. So these two methods here are being associated with this command here. And then and so now this new menu item will be associated with this application command new. Application new has been associated with the two methods we wrote. So let's give that a try. If I hit file and then new, we see that it does in fact execute that, and we do get this window that shows up. So we have a working menu item using the command pattern. Now, in this case, we created our own custom command, but there are some behaviors that are already defined for us. And so I'm going to add another menu item. This is going to look pretty familiar. By the way, this underscore that we have in here, this ends up becoming a shortcut key for that menu item. You can put an underscore in front of any character you want to be the short or the shortcut key, I guess. And so a common one that we often use is undo. And by just saying command equals undo, we will get undo, I guess. Let's see if that redo exists. And then we got cut, copy, and paste. And probably down here, might like to put a little separator in there. And so we don't actually have to create methods for these because these are already defined. And so let's give this a shot. So now we have this edit. If I highlight that, I can cut, I can paste. As I said, that these have been defined for these different controls, and the behaviors might be different. The command is associated with the button and then the control has the behavior associated with that command. And so I can put some stuff in here and hit undo and hit redo. And so we have undo, redo, and cut, copy, and paste that quickly. So that's using a lot of built-in things. So this new command we created ourselves, but we associate it with an existing command. So the functions associated with the new command, these are actually these are associated with an existing application command, but we can create our own application command, and that works this way. We create a static read-only routed UI command, and we're going to make one called exit. That's often one that's not predefined. So we've created a field, an object, that's a new routed UI command. And exit is you can actually add input gestures here. So Alt F4 will be a shortcut key for this. And we will also need, and then just like we had for the new command, which is associated with the existing new routed UI command, we will need a can execute and then an executed command. And what we're going to do is, we're not going to just show a message box, we're actually going to shut down the application. We're going to say application.current.shutdown. That will actually stop the application. And we are going to go back up here to our command bindings. I'm going to add a command binding for local and by saying local window main window undo, it tells it that it needs to look at this class here to find that undo command that we defined here. Actually, we want this to be main window exit, and then we want to associate it with And let's make sure that we made this public. Okay, that looks like it just needed to build. And now we need to find our new command. Let's see if we need to make or we need an exit. So we'll make a menu item with a header of exit. And we'll put an underscore next to the X. That means that the X will be the shortcut key. And reference that exit command. So we'll save that and let's see if it works. And yes, it works. It halted the application and it works just fine. Now, it's common to place our commands as a separate class and so that we can actually reuse them across multiple windows. And what we're going to do is make a class called custom commands. We'll make this a static class. A lot of your utility classes tend to be this way. And we're going to bring in that so from here, we'll bring in this command here. We'll save that. Now that I've done that, it should break this. In fact, if I run it, let's make sure that it doesn't work. Yep, can't find something. That makes sense. So now we will go back to here, and this is no longer local main window exit. This is now referring to our custom commands class. Let's see, line number 11. What did we do? Must not have saved. Okay, let's try that. Yep, now it works. Okay, so this is kind of nice because if we make another window, we can use that same exit command there as well. And let's see, open and save dialogues are pretty common. So let's do this. Let's so we'll open a file dialog, and then of course we open the dialog, and what will happen is this command will actually open the dialog with show dialog. And when the person closes the dialog, it'll come back with a true or false. If this equals true, then what we can do is we can say text box editor equals, and we'll use file.read all text, and we'll get the file name from the file dialog. Let's see, I want read all text method, and that belongs to system.io. So let's add a using system.io. Let's see, is that no longer supported? Oh, file.read all text. There we go. Okay, so we get the file name from our dialog. We do read all text. That brings it up as one string, and we'll place it right in our text editor. And so that's our open command. We also want our save command, very similar. Get a saved file dialog, and here we'll do a write all text to whatever that is. And then that brings us to our main window. And we'll want some more menu items. We'll put that, let's see, where do we want to put open saves? That should go under file. So we'll bring those in here. A menu item equals open associated with the, and then we'll have a save one as well. And we'll need a command binding, just like we have here. So that'll be a command is equal to so just like the other ones, we are going to set up a command binding in our window command bindings element, and then add the menu item, and then associate. So we're associating again. We associate the control, the menu item in this case, with the application command, and then here we associate the application command with the executed and can execute methods. And let's see if it works. We'll save that. Menu comes open. I'll save it to my desktop. And then I'll delete this, put some junk in here, file, and then we'll do an open. And it opens up. So we now have a full-on text editor. With insert, with a copy and paste, and really a lot of this was kind of done for us. We do need to know how to set up our command binding, associate our commands in our menu with an application command object, and then write the pieces of code we need, which is a executed and can execute method in the window, and then we can, in an external, if we need a custom command, we can write that in our custom commands class and associated that with a command that we have by creating referencing it in our command here, using, rather than application commands, we can say local custom commands to reference a command that's in here. Okay, and that concludes this presentation on how to create WPF menus and use commanding. Thank you very much.